Hello everyone, welcome to constants and how do they work. Now let's start with what are constants. Well, a constant is just a number, and here the constant is the part of the equation which does not change. So let's say we have x plus 3y plus 5 is equals to 0. Here x and y are variables because, well, you can put any number in there instead of x and y. Well, in place of them you can let x equals to 1, minus 1, square root of 2, e, pi, and same goes for y. However, for this plus 5 you cannot change its value, it will always remain as plus 5. So here these are some examples of constants. A constant's range is real numbers as well as imaginary numbers in general. So if you're just talking about pure mathematics, then the constants range is real numbers union of imaginary numbers. So this includes 1, minus 1, 7 by 9, root 2, all of these, even I, even minus I, even 1 by I, minus even root 3 by I. These are all constants because they are just numbers. So let's move on to the main part of the video in which we'll talk about how do constants work. So this question refers to in an equation where we have to deal with certain terms, certain operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, moving from left hand side to right hand side. I'll be talking about all of that here. Now, let's say we have a constant 5 and we add another constant to it 3. So we're talking about how constants work in regard to adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, etc. from one constant to another constant, or with one constant to another constant. So in this case we have 5 plus 3, which gives 8. And what is 8? Well, it's a number. And here this is a constant because, as I said, constant is a number. And let's say we subtract 3 from 5. This becomes 2, which is again another constant. So what we learn from this is that a constant plus or minus another constant gives just another constant. Now let's say we choose another number 4 or another constant, let's say 6, and we multiply them. This gives 24, and here 24 is another number. Similarly, let's say we have another constant 12 and we divide it by another constant 3. This gives 4. So what we also learn from this is that a constant multiplied by another constant just gives another constant, and a constant divided by another constant just gives another constant. These are the basic operations for constants with another constant. Now let's move on to the real part, the important part on how do constants work, in which even my friends are confused. That is the main reason why I made the videos on how constants work, because some people have confusion when dealing with these certain operations and they ask, well, how did that happen? How does this even work? Now, let's show by example. Let's say we have y equals to x minus 3, or not 3, let's just say x minus c. So here what I can do here is, in the next step, write y equals to x plus c. Now here these, I like to do it for differential equations, the part of the, well, procedure, but for your understanding I'll write plus k. Now, as I said, numbers can be real or imaginary, and in real numbers they can be either positive, negative, rational, or irrational. So that means plus 3 is a constant as well as minus 3 is a constant. So here, let's use minus 3 right here. Well, what I can do is write it as y equals to x plus minus 3. And here this minus 3 is a constant as well as this plus 3 is also a constant. So that means that we can change the sign of constants. So we have x minus c. So in the next step this becomes y equals to x plus minus c, and here minus c is, well, just another constant, let's say k, right? So in the next step we can write y equals to x plus k. So hopefully you guys understand this part right here, because minus c is just a constant we can write as positive k, and where k is equals to minus c, right? And also this is for one side of the equation. So in the right hand side I just changed the minus c to plus k. So the important part is talking about shifting it from right hand side to left hand side. Let's say we have y square equals to x square minus or plus c. So what I can do is write y square plus c is equals to x square. Now this might be a bit confusing because this is how I like to do it when solving differential equations. But here, when you take this to the left hand side, or you take a variable or constant to the left hand side, well, its sign changes, because when you're taking it to the left hand side, what you're actually doing is, well, subtracting that term from left hand side and right hand side, right? So these two cancels, giving y square minus equals to x square. So your question might be, well, shouldn't it be y square minus c is equals to x square? Now for your understanding, I'll write plus k. And similar to this whole part right here, we can write it as y square plus minus c equals to x square, and minus a constant is just another constant. So we can write it as y square plus k equals to x square, where k is equals to minus c. Now, so I wanted to make this video because I'll be doing a video on solving some exercises for differential equations. All of the methods, variable separation, homogeneous method or homogeneous form, exact form, linear form. I'll be solving all of the questions from the exercises, and in some of the procedures I might do some certain steps such as y cube equals to x plus c, and I'll write it as uh, y cube plus c equals to x. So hopefully during that video I won't have to waste time by explaining how this step happened, and so that is why I'm making a separate video on constants and how do they work. So that is all for today, and if you learned something new, please like and subscribe. Thank you.